Live from the studio of his parents' basement, the Have You Seen It podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. Sitting across from me is the one and only Cash Kraus. But before we begin, if you guys could please be sure to smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. So with that said, Cash, what are we reviewing today?
Well, Mason, I should be asking you what we're reviewing today.
That's actually very true.
This is your pick. You want to do a throwback, and this is a throwback. Is this our earliest? Well, I guess Citizen Kane would have been our earliest throwback ever, but this is pretty early, 1955.
Yes,
and you chose this film.
What a great year! I do remember those days.
Oh my God, Korean War raging.
Right, it was.
Good times.
It was.
Good times.
The economy was booming. We were all driving around those Chevrolets.
Yes, everyone in their Chevrolets.
Yes.
Well, Mason, you chose this film, so what are we? It's an interesting one.
We are reviewing Alfred Hitchcock's To Catch a Thief.
Yeah, way out of left field.
Yeah, a little bit, but I obviously, full transparency, I haven't seen all of Alfred Hitchcock's work, but I really want to, because obviously the guy was revolutionary in filmmaking. He was one of the first to do it. Do it in the way that he did it, obviously. So yeah, I wanted to check it out, and I went on Prime Video, and I know where you were going to ask this question. Why did you pick
of all the Alfred Hitchcock films?
Right.
Yeah,
it was the only one on Prime Video.
Okay,
yeah.
Well,
it was literally the only one on Prime Video, so I said, let's do it.
That makes the most sense of any answer that I could think of.
I mean, you could have rented a few, like obviously Psycho or Rear Window. Is that what it's called?
Of course. Rear Window, Vertigo, Stranger on a Train.
Which I've seen Rear Window.
The Birds, which The Birds is one of my favorite.
I've not seen that one.
It's really good.
Really?
It will make you dislike birds.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. They're mean bastards.
Oh, is that the horror one where they're attacking people out of the air?
Birds are pecking guys' eyes.
Yep.
Seagulls.
Little demonic birds.
You don't realize if the birds turned on us today, humanity wiped out.
Probably.
You can't stop. You can't nuke birds. They're flying all over the place.
There are a lot of birds too.
Constant movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but there's so many because really he is the master of suspense.
Yes.
So. But this is not a thriller or suspense film. It's a romance mystery.
It is.
But it is starring the biggest names in Hollywood at the time.
Yeah.
Which is Grace Kelly.
And Cary Grant.
Cary Grant. Yeah, two phenomenal actors and actresses, both who worked with Hitchcock multiple times.
Yes.
But Hitchcock really loved Grace Kelly.
Well, this was actually the last film she worked with.
This is
Alfred Hitchcock.
She retired at 26. So this is, if not, this might be the last film she ever did. Yeah. But yeah, she retired extremely young.
Well, she became princess too.
Yeah, I could dive into that.
I know, and she also had a small stroke and died.
Princess of when you watch this film, because it is like a blast from the past. It's on the French Riviera, a bunch of fucking rich people. It's insane. I mean, it's something that no one would do today. It's about a jewel thief. And you think, oh my God, that's so crazy. But then when you read about like Grace Kelly and Cary Grant, their lives are just as insane as in the movie. She fell in love with the Prince of Monaco, Prince Rainier, became princess. She was the hottest actress in the world at the time, completely quit at her prime at 26 to run the Monaco.
Move it up in the world.
Never starred in a film again. Took it super fucking serious, the role of princess. And had 3 kids, ended up tragically dying in a car accident at 52.
With her daughter in the car.
Very, very sad.
Yeah, she had a what's known as like a small stroke, but enough obviously to not be able to handle the steering wheel. And she went off an embankment. And like they fell, I guess, like 120 feet. Yeah. I don't know how the daughter survived that. That's crazy.
Luckily, yeah, but never did a film again. Alfred Hitchcock, for the rest of his career, begged her to come back and do a film, and she never fucking did it. But the Prince of Monaco, this is why, because I went down the Wikipedia fucking rabbit hole.
That's what's great about Wikipedia is you can.
It's the greatest thing in the world, yeah. Because now I know the history of Monaco. I know literally the country. And because Monaco at one time, just like in Casablanca, was a casino state. Their entire, all their funds was relied on a casino that they ran. That's where all the money for the country came. And Prince Rainier's mom, Princess something, she was the one that started that casino. She fell in love with a jewel thief.
No way.
Swear to God, true story. Fell in love, and surprisingly, a casino state, very corrupt.
Yeah, you could, especially back in the 50s.
But so she took that guy as a lover, and he pretty much just stole everything and bankrupted the country. It's the craziest fucking story, man. But it's all real. It's all this shit with like jewel thieves and everything was a real thing at a time. It's just fucking wild. And jewel thieves, they're like weren't looked down on.
Well, if anything, they were looked in high regard.
Yeah, because they did like the James Bond thing where it's like they kept very high class, but they were
thieves.
Criminal. They were thieves. But it's so fucking weird. So anyways, that tangent kind of goes back into what this film is about. Is Cary Grant is a famous jewel thief who at one time just quit being a jewel thief, and they just allowed him to stick around, I guess. They know really
That was the thing about this film, too. The guy was arrested 4 or 5 different times, and they're like, well, yeah, I guess we can't prove anything. We'll release you, and you can go back to your high-class life.
He fought for the French resistance, so they gave all those guys
kind of the
off because But the film starts out in a very Alfred Hitchcock way, where it opens up immediately with a woman screaming into the camera, "My jewels, my jewels!" But you got to think, who is going on vacation and bringing every piece of jewelry she's ever owned?
Rich people. That's who.
I can't leave with this with the help. They'll get their grubby hands all over it. They'll be wearing it around. Yeah. So these rich people are bringing their jewelry, every ounce of jewelry they've ever owned.
Well, I mean, it also goes to kind of the, dare I say, narcissism of rich people to when you're going on vacation to look your best, to let everyone know you've got a bunch of money.
They're going to the beach and they have fucking
jewels everywhere. You're like,
is that going to rust?
Yeah, I don't understand.
They're in the water.
Aren't you going to lose that?
Pearls and stuff.
Did you not see Kim K when she lost her diamond earring in the ocean?
In the pool, I think it was.
No, it was that ocean on vacation. And then she started crying, and then that's where the meme came from.
God. I wish I didn't know anything about that, honestly. I'm ashamed of myself. But yeah, that's exactly it. Mm-hmm. It's still the same thing. It's a big fuck you to like the waiters and staff that are bringing these people drinks. And
then complaining about having to give a tip. Did you notice that too?
I forgot about that. Yeah,
I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
That is what I enjoy about these films. It's like stepping into a time machine. Mm-hmm. And when it's done right, it doesn't take you out of it, because Alfred Hitchcock is so fucking good that it still looks like it was shot pretty recently, but clearly set in the 1955 or whatever. So it's like it's like going in a time machine, like seeing how these people live in the French Riviera. It's, I don't know, the most privileged fucking place in the fucking world. Oh my God.
Well, and that's the thing, and I know he's kind of like the poster boy of like how everyone, I guess, enacted their career like in modern day time. But like Alfred Hitchcock in the cinematography work back in the 50s, the 40s and 50s,
that's
it's crazy.
It's where he made his money.
Girl named Friday. What's that film called? But I went back and watched that after this one, and that's set in the 1940s. And even the camera work there, it's all in black and white. Cary Grant was in that, so I watched about a half an hour of that. But it's just like, it's so crazy with Hitchcock, like how far ahead of his time he was with the camera work. Because I kept going back to it time and time again. I was like, how in the hell was he this good 70, 80 years ago?
I like to imagine like going, like being a patron, like going to the theater, right? You've only ever seen, like you said, camera work very static, doesn't move or anything like that. And then you go to Alfred Hitchcock and he has these quick zooms and everything makes you feel claustrophobic at times. You know, he's really good at doing that. He's really good with playing with the audience. Just imagine going to a theater and like the camera's moving around and you're just like fucking dazed. You've never seen anything like it. It would be fucking amazing. But to us going back, it's like everyone does that now. Mm-hmm. Everyone moves the camera constantly. Yeah. Everyone does quick zooms. Everyone now shoots a film like you are in the room watching. Mm-hmm. But he invented that, the voyeurism of you're not really supposed to be there, but you're just watching this this crazy play take place. You know, you're watching Cary Grant and Grace Kelly run from one area to the other, but it's like you're there with them, and you're not supposed to be. You know, he invented all that.
You know, a film that we just saw that kind of encapsulates that is Belfast, when they were watching Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and they're like, whoa! And they're like, because the camera's moving along with them, you know, so they feel like they're actually falling. Because like back then, again, that was relatively new.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Audience members never saw that. As you said, the camera was static.
Yeah, and you got to think of Alfred Hitchcock. He started out, I mean, the jump in technology. He started out from silent films with no color to, you know, the invention of color to talkies, you know. It was such a huge leap in technology, but he was still 30 years ahead of his time. Yeah. So it's, I don't know, it blows your mind.
It does.
But you really got to, like, appreciate, you know, nowadays, again, like we said, it's everyone does what he does. Yeah. But he invented it, man.
Well, and the screenplay too is really good for this film. Like it's again, it's wild to say this, you know, 70, 80 years ago, but you do not expect a film to be this good that was made almost a century ago. And like the whole story, because it's the first time I've seen To Catch a Thief. And the screenplay was great, man. I mean, it kept me involved the entire time. I really enjoyed the romance between Grace Kelly and Cary Grant. In the idea of like who the jewel robber is, because we all think it's the cat, right? Roby, which is played by Cary Grant.
Cat Burger literally named the cat.
The cat, yeah, which is ironic. But we all think it's John Roby, blah, 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 or everyone in the film does, you know. But you wonder the whole time. Now, because I've seen so much film, I knew who the burglar or the jewel thief was going to be. It was a little.
If you know Alfred Hitchcock, you know that it's almost always a woman. He does have. It's interesting, like diving into the psychology of Alfred Hitchcock, because he does have a hatred for women, and in all of his films, and he's notoriously for being extremely harsh on actresses. You know, really. Yeah. Ruining their career, you know. What's her name from Halloween?
Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah, her mom, who was in Psycho, you know. He really fucked with her, and he really messed her up. Really? But it was evil women. It was mistresses. It's almost always women. And it's like, because there's so much, like, scholarly work done on Alfred Hitchcock. You know, people have just dissected his career so much that
I wonder if he had mommy issues.
He did. When his mom died in 1942, and there's like an immediately turn in his work to where he focuses now on the promiscuous women.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And his mom, they were very, you know, conservative. So he had like a sexually repressed childhood. Yeah. So, and you see it in his films. There's definitely a ton of sexual innuendos in all of his films that you were not allowed to do in 1955. Like him walking up to the waiter when he's like uncorking the waiter. Yeah, Cary Grant. Come on, guy, you gotta last longer than that.
Yeah,
there's stuff like that sprinkled in all of his films like that. But it's like he did that to push the envelope. You know, that's what he was always doing shit that you're not supposed to do.
Speaking of sexual contact in films back in the 50s, we got to talk about this because it's so funny, and I've seen it in and I get it. You have to understand the time period and how, like, it would have been a shock to have a sex scene or something in a film.
Not a shock, but against the law. There was laws forbidding you. In this time, for sure. I mean, you weren't allowed to even reference anything gay or homosexual or anything.
Oh,
you weren't allowed. Yeah. Psycho was the first film to show a toilet on screen.
That's wild.
You weren't allowed. Yeah, no one could show that. You couldn't do anything like that. Yeah, so everything he did was pushing it.
But I love the kissing scenes in these old films because they touch lips and then like to show that they're making out, they go like this. And they just rub back and forth.
Because if you saw tongue,
right,
your head would explode.
Yeah, exactly. But it's so funny to see like make out scenes back then because it's them just rubbing their faces back and forth.
Yeah, and that's what's great about film is forever in film, there's always been people telling you what you can and can't do. But there's always, I mean, they're artists at the end of the day, and artists are always going to.
Pushing the boundaries.
Yeah. That's the only reason that it's worth watching. But
well, I think that's the same way with any art. Even
absolutely.
like stand-up comedy. Like sometimes people push the boundaries. Painters and stuff. Like they paint things that might make you feel uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Pushing the boundaries. That's what art is.
Yeah, but there's always people there telling you not to do that or whatever. But and in Hollywood, it's crazy, especially the 50s, you could be blacklisted, so you can.
Oh, for sure.
The government steps in.
Now in Hollywood.
Well, yeah, but I mean, and nowadays it's like, I mean, back then it was, you could go to jail, prison. I mean, you could be a communist,
Well, they arrested, who was a stand-up comedian? They arrested him for saying words that you can't say.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. The most famous comedian in the... he had like 80 arrests.
Yeah. Why
am I
Richard?
blanking? No,
it wasn't
Richard Pryor.
It wasn't Pryor. It was anyway.
This was in the 50s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna kill me not to remember.
But nonetheless, like you could get arrested back then.
For cursing.
Things. Yeah, for cursing on stage.
The Marvelous Miss Maisel. He's in that. That's an amazing show. She gets arrested all the time too. But yeah, it's funny though, and because everything again, we're so used to it now. Like there's a car chase scene in this movie that's maybe the most boring car chase scene.
Yeah,
like there's no
in the helicopter shot, it's kind of like all like shaky.
Not only that, but there's like a car wreck, but they don't even show the wreck.
No, it's just the car. And it was because of a chicken in the road.
Yes, exactly. Like, but it's like it's the most like but then there was like, of course, and the technology, you
couldn't do that.
And then when they're driving, there's no gimbals or anything.
Yeah, when they're driving, it's so obviously a green screen in the back. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's The French Connection. I think that's one of the first films to do a really good car chase scene for sure. But yeah, this one is. I mean, they're not even worried about it at all that they're being chased or followed or anything. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, you better speed up here." But there's some. It's dated in some scenes for sure, but it's definitely enjoyable still.
Oh, for sure.
It's fun. It's the location is super fun, and having these the best looking and biggest actresses and actors of the time is amazing too.
Yeah.
Grace Kelly, we talked about her enough, but there's a reason that Prince of Monaco fucking risked it all to marry Grace Kelly.
Well, and again, for the time period, like there were cool scenes, like when they caught the other robber in this, and he falls off the cliff, right, into the water. That was cool. Like to be able to do that way back then, to have a stunt guy.
Oh, that guy probably just died.
Yeah, he probably did. That
water did not look very deep.
No, it did not.
But that was a legit guy falling off that cliff.
Oh, absolutely was. Yeah.
I guaranteed they're like, just roll. Hit the water, baby, and roll.
There were no safety precautions back then.
1955.
And I love how he's just laying there.
It's probably the key grip that they got out there.
Do you want to make an extra $25, kid? Just let us push you off this cliff.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the transatlantic accent that is seen in all 1950s films. That accent of,
yes.
Come on, kid.
Yeah, hell.
Yeah, come on, get your jollies
Put
off.
him up, Charlie.
Yeah, that is an accent that's completely made up. That accent is not found anywhere in the world. That's an interesting thing to look into because they at one point they thought that's how rich people should talk, like newscasters.
Right.
Isn't
that so weird?
So bizarre.
Because that was actually a thing back then.
Oh, they told you in New England schools, they would teach you in schools, you got to talk like this, but it's not found anywhere. And no one talks like that in real life.
No.
You would
No, Cash, I do not.
Well, Mason, it's good to see you here again. I can't tell you it's been too long.
It's been a long time.
Have you seen that old Cary Grant romp to catch a predator?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Yeah, it's so fucking weird.
It is.
If you found someone like that, talking like that, you'd think they're schizophrenic.
Or mentally
deranged. Yeah. But Cary Grant was the king of the transatlantic accent. It's really weird.
It is. It's strange.
Really
it's a little strange.
But it interests me a lot because that's how they thought everyone should talk like that. And people would like pretend to talk like that.
Yeah.
Fucking weirdos, dude.
It is weird.
Weirdos. 50s, different time.
Yeah.
Different time for
different
sure.
Folks, different strokes.
Different strokes for sure, yeah. But what a time, man.
It was. It was a great time to be alive.
I'd love to be French Riviera in 1955. Stealing jewels for sure. How easy is it?
Oh, it's got to be easy.
It's so...
Stealing from
every
old women.
room's got jewels.
Oh, yeah, of course. I love how the mom, too, in this was just like, what?
The mom could care less.
I know.
And who insures jewels? Is that a thing?
I think it was a thing, actually. Yeah, I think you can, because like
it was a thing. I know. Is it a thing now?
No, it still is, yeah. So we have my wife's ring insured.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, that makes sense because you're wearing it every day. Yeah, right.
That's not $100,000 piece of, It's
so
98.
Weird. Yeah. I know you went a little cheap on that.
I did. $2,000 less than $100K.
But it's so weird. Yeah, she could really care less. And the entire time she's just really having a good time.
She's really having a good time with the cat
out.
too.
Yeah.
With Roby. She finds him attractive.
Fuck him.
She is. Did you see him give him the old fuck eyes when she's on the bed with the book?
She literally says, "Oh, that's my bed."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh," changing the subject. He's like,
"Look,
ma'am, I never."
Look, ma'am, I'm kind of into younger women. Yeah.
You got to be 20 to 18 for Cary Grant to.
That's about as old as he goes.
Oh no, he's a gentleman. Yeah, I thought in the way like she falls in love immediately with Cary Grant. What are they together for a half an afternoon?
Yeah.
She goes,
and then
I love you.
Yeah. And he was like, "Huh? What are you? What is that crazy?
Hey,
talking?
dame.
Yeah, hey, dame. Like you're talking all crazy now.
You're wacky in the head." Yeah. Of course he's Cary Grant though, so I believed it.
No, for sure.
And he's a jewel thief.
Fall in love with Cary Grant.
What a badass. Yeah. But
he lived a nice and long life too, this Cary Grant.
He did all kinds of stuff. He quit eventually and like went into business or something. Like, eventually he was on the board of MGM, I think. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he died in 86 at 82 years old.
Yeah.
It's a good life.
Some villa in Southern California, probably.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
He was, well off.
Yeah.
He invested into Bitcoin early.
In the 50s.
Yes.
Computers weren't even a thing.
He said,
they thought he was insane.
Yeah, they did. Now look at him.
Ahead of his time.
He's dead.
Yeah, I guess it didn't work out.
Didn't work out, no.
Or Frozen. That's what they did with rich people back then. Disney's Frozen in the middle of Disneyland.
Old Walt.
Yeah, the old Walt for sure these days.
Yeah, just his head is frozen, just in case.
Yeah, I guess they didn't need the body, huh?
No,
that's just the head. I think they might end up regretting that choice.
They are going to. When technology actually comes about, we're like, where's the torso?
We need the body.
We need the whole body.
It's super important.
So, yeah, we're just going to have to toss this head out.
Can't be a floating head. Yeah, toss it in the trash.
Oh, Walt, you fucked up. You should have just went for the whole thing, your whole body.
Well, he was cheap.
He was cheap.
He cut corners. Yep. He's like, I'm not going to need the body. No. There's no way.
Well, he cut corners in the same way that in like the Jungle Book and Lion King, they're two of the exact same scenes.
Oh, that was very common. Yeah, to recycle animation images. Yeah. Yeah, Robin Hood does that. The old Robin Hood does it. Yeah. Although animation was so fucking tedious and took so much time back then.
I get it. Yeah, I would have done the same fucking thing because no one noticed it until 2020. So
until we had computers, we could go back and like put them frame
by frame.
Although there probably was some psychopath in like the 80s or something who set up 2 TV screens. It was like, guys,
the patterns are here. What are they trying to tell us?
Joey, you're nuts. They aren't the same.
Come on, man. You gotta get a hobby.
You're crazy. Yeah, but what that's why I like going back to these old movies because it is like it's the golden age of Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know? scandals were happening. All the rich guys were pushing rich people off boats and killing them and getting it covered
Getting
up.
away with it.
It was a crazy time.
It was. And not only that, too, it's fun to watch old film. It's fun. As you said earlier, it's like a time machine, you know?
Yeah.
You go back into a different era of a place that you and I will never go to, obviously, because we weren't alive back then.
Unless we get that time machine up and running like we've been talking about.
Well, I've got a mock-up version right there of the DeLorean.
We have a small,
work on it.
a 1/100 scale.
Yep. But we will slowly progress that to full scale. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Just need the old flux capacitor.
Well, that's in the uranium.
Well, I've got the uranium. Don't worry about the uranium. That's the easy part.
Israeli terrorists,
Yes,
you know.
Well, I do know a few. Yes.
But I like going back. It's fun. It's like a snapshot of what these people live like. I mean, the police in this fucking film, bro, are insane.
Yeah.
When they're just shooting at the guy on top of one guy, one gun, the designated guy with a gun.
Oh, you're right.
Get him up here.
Yep.
Like, who's up there?
I know. Not only that,
They
but
have
you're
no idea.
shooting into windows and shit. Like, you could be hitting people. Like, you can't even see the guy. It's in all black. It's all dark up there. Like,
Not only there's multiple people up there.
I
They know that.
And they don't know who they're shooting at. Yeah, there wasn't much gun safety back then.
Not in that, but they find a guy at one point who they blame the entire thing on. He's got a peg leg.
Oh, yeah, that's
And
right.
the MO of the cat, he's a cat. Rooftop, he hangs out on rooftop like a cat. Like with the whole thing, he's like, no, he couldn't be up there. He's got a peg leg. You're like, wait a second. He does. Cops never checked the body, never checked anything. Just like,
Never patted anyone down for
this is the guy. This is him.
Hey,
I know.
we got him.
Ladies
go,
and gentlemen,
yeah.
we got him.
Let's go to the bar. Have a cup of Joe.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but horrible police. French police, though, I assume it's probably not that far off. You know,
Probably not.
shoot first.
Ask questions later.
I thought that was hilarious, though. A funny fucking scene. Just smoking hoovers are on that roof.
I know.
Could be the guy, roof cleaner.
I know. What if you had like 3 bodies just roll off the roof? What are you going to do? Whoops.
What a shot. Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, it's a fun movie. Even going back and watching, I think you can enjoy it, you know?
I enjoyed it quite a bit, honestly.
Yeah. You're always guessing. Again, you think, I either thought it was Grace Kelly or the other chick. The chick. Yeah. I mean, like the one of the two.
And that was kind of the funny thing. She was supposed to play like a teenager, but I felt she looked older than Grace Kelly.
I did. Well, Grace Kelly was 26.
Yeah.
And at one point, she like swims up because that scene when they're
And she's
big tension in the water.
Yeah, oh yeah.
She's like, oh, she looks older than I expected. She's saying that to Grace Kelly.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I'm like, what do you mean? You look older than what you're portraying. You're supposed to play like this 18, 19-year-old kid.
Yeah, and who would ever say Grace Kelly looked old at 20?
I don't know. Well, it's definitely a dig. They were fighting.
I know, but it's like not
Royce.
even realistic. No. I mean, you could said many, many things, but could call her fat. That would.
I know. I'm trying to find her. Was it? It would have been Jessie Medbury. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I guess so. Wow, she died in 72. It's so crazy to think these people died like 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah, and the guy who played the insurance guy, H.H. Hudson or whatever, he's in another Alfred Hitchcock, Dial M for Murder, which is a good one too. Yeah,
Dial M for Murder is great.
He was good as like the bumbling kind of insurance agents. That I'm not even sure why I was in the film. Oh, because he gave him the list, which is an insane thing to give a known.
Well, then he was taking these people like to dinner and stuff with them, and I'm like, how involved is this insurance agent?
I gotta go on vacation. Make sure you bring your
jewels, like this,
and bring your insurance agent. Like you gotta buy him a ticket.
I don't know. I did not get that. I was like,
at start, I was misunderstanding his. I thought he was Grace Kelly's dad.
Oh.
But no, like he's just staying in the hotel with these people. Yeah.
So weird, dude.
He's like part of the family. It's so bizarre. But I guess, you're really close with your insurance agent back then.
I guess so.
But yeah, I thought he did a good job. He could have been the thief too, I guess. But yeah, any closing thoughts on this one, Mason?
No closing thoughts. But what I will say is I would like to, down the road, do more Alfred Hitchcock because I feel like there's so much we can expand on.
Yeah, he had such a hot time between like, I don't know, it was like 55 to 64 where he did like 4 films that are known today as like the greatest films of all time. Yeah. We should start exploring those. We don't need to do Psycho, I don't think, unless we get desperate because that's been done. But Rear Window, Vertigo would be awesome to do.
Rear Window's great.
Dial In for Murder, The Birds, I think.
Dial In for Murder.
The Birds would be a fun one to do.
The Birds is good. Was there a remake in the 80s of that with bats? I actually literally see? I might have seen The Birds because I remember this one scene where they're all freaking out at night when they're all flying and like eating people's faces off.
There's been a million like spoofs and rip-offs of The Birds. I mean, like straight
I'll
to
have
DVD.
To see if I've seen the original Birds, but
I got a feeling you'd fucking kind of remember.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I remember seeing that, but I don't know if I saw the spoof or The Birds.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying
Either
to say.
way, though, even if you've seen it, it'll be fun to do. And
absolutely.
Talk about it because.
Yeah. Well, Dial M for Murder is one we absolutely have to do. That's a phenomenal one. Strangers on the Train. Could do that one as well.
That'd be fun. Vertigo would be awesome. Vertigo's awesome.
I haven't seen Vertigo.
It's amazing. The Birds would be really fun to do because it's actual birds, right? It's not CGI or anything.
Right, yeah.
They're getting birds to attack people. So it's fucking.
How fucking wild is that?
It's wild. I know the actress in The Birds fucking hated it because Alfred Hitchcock was constantly
having
making
birds attack
and constantly having to reshoot scenes, so she would like have to redo birds. Like they put like feed in their hair. It's fucked up, bro.
That's wild.
You could do a lot more to an actor and actress back then,
for sure,
and like ruin their lives really. But
it
would be a fun one because you can tell. These people are fucking scared.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. When you get birds attacking you like that, I'm not a fan of birds to begin with.
No one is because, yeah, it's unlikely for them to attack you. But if you had been, you would freak the fuck out, right?
Especially big birds.
They carry all kinds of disease and shit. Yeah, so that'd be a good one. But yeah, I like doing these movies. I think it'd be fun to every once in a while,
for sure,
dive into and do a cool one. But. All right.
Well, that is our review
to Catch a Thief.
Catch a Thief. If you like what you've seen here, please be sure to smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause, and until next time.
Bye.